Mac Jones is on the trade block, and this really warms my heart because I don't like him. And I don't know why, but I've never liked – I think it's his face. Maybe it's his name, McCorkle. I don't know what it is. I feel like he brings out the bully in me, but he's on the trade block. Do you think the Niners are interested? I mean, how could they not be, right? They love him.
Wouldn't that be the irony of all ironies? That Trey Lance for Mac Jones, they just swap, quarterbacks from 2021, and we can finally see what Kyle Shanahan would have done with Mac Jones.
No, don't do that. I really don't like. I prefer Sam Darnold to Mac Jones. Is that a controversial thing to say? I actually prefer Mac Jones. He doesn't move well. He's accurate, but it's his personality, man. He is such an obvious whiner. I mean, you can see it all over his body language. And the reports that he couldn't take criticism is like, oh yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Now, I know it didn't come out in college, but it's different when you're an amateur than when you have gotten your guaranteed contract with your signing bonus. But the idea that he would tell that he would like not embrace Bill Belichick, like, whoa. Even Jimmy Garoppolo convinced Bill Belichick that he was like a hard worker and like a tough, non-sensitive person. So I wouldn't touch Mac Jones.
Well, think about this, though. The Niners were supposedly debating between Trey and Mac back in 2021. Let's give the Niners a little credit for maybe steering clear of it. I mean, if anybody has a reason to complain at their team, by now it's Trey Lance, and he hasn't said a peep. And, the Niners always talk about how he's made of the right stuff. I give Kyle and John and Adam Peters and all those guys a little credit. Maybe they recognize something in this with Mac Jones. We know how Kyle treats quarterbacks. Maybe they said, you know what? That ain't going to work.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd love to know if Kyle sat down with these quarterbacks and gave them like a little bit of a shit test. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of a preview of how he does work. Like, I wonder if he sat down with all of them and said, how are you going to feel when I tell the team how much you suck? In so many words, because that's what he does, right? He undresses you essentially in front of the whole team. What the hell was, and he's gonna harp on your bad plays. He's not gonna pump you up. So I can see Trey Lance being like, "Hey, no problem, coach. I can handle it." That's his personality. Same with Brock Purdy. Mac, from what we understand, he might take that personally. So I would take it personally. So I don't know.
Well, to be fair to Mac, I mean, they had a ridiculous plan for the offense last year. Let's have Joe Judge and Matt Patricia call plays, two guys that have never done it before ever. But that said, you still can't do some of the things that Mac Jones did. So, yeah, just not a good look for New England. And, say what you want about Trey Lance, but he's never caused any problems inside the building.
Also, he's like a borderline dirty player on the field. He's had like 3 or 4. Yeah, he clipped a guy in the testicles, and he yanked at someone's leg. Like, I don't like him. He's like Grayson Allen. You know what I mean? He's just a little bit of a punk. I don't like him.
He's done some sketchy
things. Hard
to
root for.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah. He's a bad guy, but he's easy to root against.
This 2021 quarterback class is suddenly shaping up to be not exactly what we thought it was going to be a few years ago.
I think it's interesting. I feel like people were looking at that class through like beer goggles because everyone needs a quarterback, but also it was the pandemic and there was very little actual evidence and like scouting that went into these guys because there was no combine. And so I think people just saw what they wanted to see. And it's interesting that 2 of the guys who are failing, Mac Jones and Zach Wilson, are failing because of their personality. Like, they are just not mature enough or cut out to actually lead an NFL team. And I think that's interesting. I don't know if teams really put enough emphasis on that aspect, because that's another area where Brock Purdy kind of knocked it out of the park, taking over an NFL team at 22. He acted like he was 30. He told someone to shut up. Like, that was all great stuff. I loved how he actually told George Kittle like he talks too much on national title. I wish Trey Lance would say something like that. I really would love him to do that.
Yeah, the fact that too, I think that Brock just recognized that the team needed that, right? Jimmy Garoppolo had just gone down. This Super Bowl ready team that we all talk about that can't sacrifice wins because they're win now. Their season was going down the toilet. Players could see it circling the drain. And the fact that Brock recognized, like, hey, I can't just come in and try to, steer the ship and be quiet. Like, no, I got to tell these guys that we're going, that our goals are still here, that I'm driving the bus and we're going to the damn Super Bowl. And then he did it. And he won early on immediately. And I think that's part of the reason why he's so beloved in the locker room now, because they're like, he wasn't the quiet guy. He recognized it and then he did it.
I think it's a good thing the Niners didn't draft Mac Jones. People will say, hey, well, it didn't work out with Trey Lance. Trey Lance didn't fail. Trey Lance just wasn't given an opportunity year one, got injured year two, and then Brock Purdy emerged, and the Niners seem like they're smitten. Mac Jones is failing. Now, you could blame it on Joe Judge or Matt Patricia, but it's freaking Bill Belichick over there, and he's putting Mac Jones on the trade block. What an indictment. What a freaking indictment. So I think it's a good thing the Niners didn't draft Mac Jones. I don't think he would have mixed with Kyle Shanahan at all. I think he would have probably gotten injured like he did in New England, like everyone does here. I think they dodged a bullet. Not necessarily that they made a better. I mean, it's not like it worked out with Trey, but that would have been a bullet they would have taken. So they dodged it.
Yeah, if you went with the unathletic guy who's also a pain in the ass, that's not a good combo.
It's not what you want.
No. No.
Somehow Bill Belichick got that. I don't understand what he was thinking.